and get
Can't change that button belongs to.
Can somebody, yeah, since the person it belongs to isn't here.
Andy's not here.
It's not.
Okay.
Are we ready? Are we live? Okay, we do have several guests for the public session, and we have Lorna Joy and Steve Haynes, Chair and Vice Chair of the Buckingham Twinning Association, who would like to address the council, please.
Thank you very much. We're here today to ask for your agreement to full twinning statuses with Buckingham, which is a town we are in contact with in Italy. The council kindly approved the friendship agreement back in November 2. But following on with our contact with Buckingham, status from the point of view of the funds for Buckingham. It's a beautiful town, way up in the north of Italy, on Lake Como. Fantastic place. Yeah, you've got a few details on the front of you. It's in the Three Alps and has a population of probably a little bit less than Buckingham, I think. What we've done very recently is in April we went back to Andrea and formed further links on the basis of a couple of trips we've done already. And we saw all sorts of fantastic operations that they have there. Something called Time Bank, which is the exchange of skills. People very similar to U3A. Sorry. They've got an amazing organic farm, which is sort of self-supporting thing, working with young people, many with special needs, and there's also actually a brilliant school there, which has various technical things into the education department, with working engineering, but also more academic subjects.
Okay. So we've already established some quite definitive links so far. The tennis club that we visited, they sent the team over who took part in the international tennis tournament that we had in Buckingham a few weeks ago, and they actually took the trophy and they promised to return match in Italy in the near future. We shared photos of an art exhibition that we went to, and as a result, BAFA have invited them to send some pictures to their exhibition in November, and they'd also like them to do perhaps a art demo over Zoom in the winter. We were in touch with the Youth Sports Club, and they have football as well as winter sports. Sports are very popular there. We heard, although we didn't see, that there are music groups, also choirs, and they would be interested in collaboration with people in Buckingham. Steve talked about the school. I've already set up, hopefully, contact with Buckingham School, because this is a technical school, and they're very, very keen to have work on collaborative projects. They would like to link with England. So we would, the schools would do that themselves, but it's for the youth, it's for the young people. So we're really asking you today to consider this, maybe at your next full council meeting, if we could go to full twinning status. It shouldn't actually cost the council anything extra. One of the good things about the Aldemoro school that we visited, they had done something with their German twin town, where the whole department went and they cooked a whole meal for all the people in Germany. They took everything with them. And they do that because, of course, it's their learning. So there might be a chance for that. The notices at the beginning of the town, it would be nice if we changed it, but let's face it, it's people that are important who cares what we can stick with paper on it necessarily. So it's really about keeping this value opportunity for use in the future. Sorry, it's more things.
Thank you very much.
That's fine,
Thank you.
We've got some more leaflets.
Yes. Who would like to, yeah, Howard.
The fundamental point that we can't make a decision tonight anyway. It's not on the agenda. But our last stints on the next town council agenda. The other point is that we already linked formally with two places. And we can't get involved in huge costly events by having civic do. As much as we'd like to, it's not in the budget, and it would have to be in Robin's events committee budget. And secondly, I think these things are probably, it's been going very well. So the informal links we've had, making it more formal is fine without all the, if you like, silly on the surface notes. That's how I would say it and how I would put it to the council.
Councillor Draper.
Am I right in thinking that what you're not necessarily proposing, I'm just checking my own understanding, not just necessarily proposing we do all the activities and that's how you just want to fit in pulling status, because it will benefit them, the EU, and it would open doors.
Yeah, indirectly will benefit us.
Yeah, so you're not necessarily asking us to do all the content.
No.
Just clarifying my own understanding.
Councillor Secretary.
Well, thank you for coming and thank you for putting it. I think it'd be useful to have a bit more information than one sheet about what your aspirations are. Unfair to question you on one sheet of paper, a bit more about what it was, and then allow it to go through the committee procedures here and discuss it in a bit more length and come around it a proper measured way, rather than make a decision whatever. So I think that would be town clerk's position to how and if and when. I've only ever been to Italy once, so I would actually go with the secondary school in the times when I went skiing there, and it was the only time the head teacher said that they thought they might lose their insurance. Was me skiing, but it is a very nice place, and I just wonder quite with one question. You said you've in contact with the secondary school, knowing how expensive school trips are for children and how parents not always able to do it. I remember my son being at another school and how expensive trips were. Whether they are able to do a trip, because it's important if they do that everybody's able to go, not just those who can afford it. Otherwise, it isn't proper. It's just it's very much becomes a divisive thing at the start.
That's the good thing about this sort of twinning approach, because the idea is that people they go into families, see everyday life. You know, they're not staying in a hotel or something. They stay with another child the same age. And therefore the cost is kept to a minimum.
I remember when we started on this journey of twinning, it was Councillor Christine Strain-Clark was mayor at the time, and it seems a lifetime ago now. I got to wander around some French community as a mayor. I don't know quite what they made of that, but it was enjoyable. My wife spoke French, so it's fine.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments at this stage? In that case, I'd like to thank you for coming, making the presentation, and we'll work through the usual channels to see how this can be taken forward.
If anyone would like to, obviously we didn't have much time, if anybody would like to talk to me, my number is on there. I'll be quite happy to meet with you privately if you've just got questions about twinning that you want to know, please feel free to say.
Thank you. So you are welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting, of course, if you want to, but you don't have to. You're under no obligation.
It won't count as a black mark.
No.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank
you so much.
So I believe we don't have another member of the public who wishes to speak. So we will now go to the formal part of the agenda. Do we have any apologies for absence?
Councillor Collins, Councillor Gate, Councillor Harvey, Councillor Harvey, Councillor Trump.
Be happy to accept those? Yeah. Thank you. Then any declarations of interest that we don't already know about? I should mention that, I suppose, in respect to item 7, that I live on in the village, so that's not. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. The other councillor who lives on in the village is not here tonight. Then the first substantial agenda item is item number 3, inventory of land and assets, to receive a report from the finance officer and compliance and projects manager. And that it is recommended that members review and approve the revised asset register as of 31st March 24. Yeah, Councillor Sudbury.
Those that we agree the asset manager list, it is what it is, it's what we've got, there's nothing missing, I believe. I think it went through Lisa's committee, didn't it?
Okay. Anybody wishing to second?
I'll second that.
Yeah, Councillor Davies is seconding. Then we take this to the vote straight away. Those in favour, please. And that looks as it's unanimous. Okay, thank you. That was a necessary precursor step to the next agenda item, the annual internal auditors report, the annual governance and accountability return, and accounting statements. What do we need to do here?
If everybody is happy, then we need to resolve to accept them, and the chair and I need to sign them off.
Councillor Davies?
I basically accept them, so I'm not, I have no issues.
Second. Okay, Councillor Bowler seconding. In that case, all those in favour? Okay, and then we need to take a moment for the clerk and myself to sign these. So it's all done and proper. Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah, if you want it, that's fine.
Yeah. Well, is it possible we could have that turned off? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Like being on a beach.
It's quite nice, it's had one really cold, dry eye.
It's great to have points where we can actually make decisions and get results. It's right away.
Turning the aircon.
Well, I was wanting on half time.
Thank you for that. Then item number 5, the exercise of public rights, to note the date set by the RFO for the exercise of public rights has been Monday, the 24th of June to Friday, the 22nd of August. Do you want to just briefly say what this is about?
This is something we've never needed to do before, but the audit process requires some sort of an audit trail of when the exercise of public rights is, so that's why you can put a minute number next to it, and then I can just send the minute number to the
For new members, could you explain what the exercise of public rights means, please?
It's basically a period where the public are entitled to come and review our accounts. It's not something that happens particularly often nowadays because we publish everything anyway, but it's a formal period and it's part of our transparency. We have to do this.
Okay, thank you. In that case, I think we only know this. Then item number 6, to agree to appoint Councillor Jane Mordew as a member of the Communication Strategy Subcommittee. Agreed?
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed.
Thank you, Jane.
Item number 7, a motion from Councillor Howard Mordew.
Thank you, Mayor. Excuse me, I've had a cold, so I'm getting over. Firstly, a brief history lesson. Linden Village was built after Page Hill. And unfortunately, the builders, Federated Homes, went into receivership before the land was transferred to AVDC. The liquidators were appointed, well, the receivers were appointed in May 1990 for the company. And the receivers are not allowed to spend money other than on behalf of the creditors. AVDC were persuaded that it was in the interests of residents to maintain the land, but they could not be paid for it. Everything was fine until the land was sold by the receivers of the company, as we know, by auction. And I think it was 125,000 that was received. Now, in 1990, the receivers applied for planning permission for 28 houses. And it was refused the following year on the grounds that it was the only public open space on Linden Village. And there should be an area where residents could exercise. And that was fine until Buckingham Council appointed new contractors who went into digital mapping. And the digital mapping showed that Buckingham Council did not own the land. At that point, the contractors realised they were not insured to go onto private land to maintain it. So they said no. Buckingham Council equally cannot maintain land which they do not own. It is private land, so anybody going on that land technically is guilty of trespass, but the company that took it over, Blue Sky Properties, are not interested in answering emails or telephone calls or doing any replies. So that is the reason why the land has all ended up not being maintained. And I looked at finding a way out of the impasse. The first thought I had is, why did Blue Sky buy this land? It's of no use. A lot of it is small pockets of land which are enclosed, which you can't build a house on. So the only valuable piece of land would have been the land off March Hedge. However, in the terms of the declining the planning application, it's quite clear that it should remain as open space land. Now, the problem with open space land, it could technically be fenced. Open doesn't mean to say it has to be open. It just has to be there for people to use. So I looked into the possibility of registering either as common land, which is in the medieval, although you can't graze goats and sheep on it anymore, or it could be as registered open land within the jurisdiction of the 2006, I think it was, I put in my motion, 2006 Commons Act, and that allows land to be registered. Yeah, there's two ways of doing it. Either you do it through with landlord's permission, and in this case, I think it'd be very difficult to get landlord's permission because they don't answer any questions. However, if land has been used by the public for 20 years or more, it can be used, can be registered as common land. And that land, to my knowledge, has been used for over 30 years. But we do not have the power as local council to register, it has to be with Buckinghamshire Council. And I'm even slightly open about how it's registered, because the main thing of getting that registered is to have it maintained. And if it's common land, it can be maintained by a council, i.e. the local council, for the interest of the commoners. It does then become quite complex, because there's an organisation in London that actually registers common lands and so on, as distinct from Buckinghamshire Council that registered common land within Buckinghamshire. So what I'm asking the council tonight is to ask Buckinghamshire Council, well, the motion's there, land of marks on the village is registered by Buckingham Town Council as common land with Buckinghamshire Council under section 15 part 1 application under the Commons Act of 2006. That was a new act that was introduced to make the registration of common and open land easier. The land, as I said, was sold for 125,000. If you take that lump of land out, which I might be wrong, but to me it's only the real value, because it had the potential, however remote, of having housing on it. It devalues the rest of the land in the village from a sale point of view, and it may be a negotiating point, but that is not my point of asking town council to get it registered. If it's registered, then we can get a council can actually act. There's two ways you can actually get a group and set up a, like, for instance, if you like to liken it to a commons association to run the management, which is very unlikely, or you can ask a parish council, i.e. Buckingham Town Council, to enable the legal aspects of managing that. But it has to be managed in the interests of both the commoners and the landlord, because they won't own the land, they will only be managing it on behalf of the landlord, who is Blue Sky Properties or subsequent owners. Okay. They wouldn't be allowed to build houses or anything on, not that we particularly want to. So that's what I'm asking Buckingham Town Council, just to go forward with it to legal department of Buckinghamshire Council to see whether it can be registered.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Statutory.
Yeah, well, thank you very much for bringing this. It is interesting. There are some things that I think we should do, a matter of courtesy around this. I think it would be prudent for us to note it and move it to the next council meeting out of purdah. Secondly, that we allow the reports which were given, the accompanying reports which we have not got sight of here, which were drafted to do with this information, so that when we make, which I think is a reasonable decision, we've got all that information for us, and also it has no danger thereafter becoming part of a election, because actually at the moment we are in purdah, and this is making a decision which could be misconstrued, and I think the motives are genuine. But I don't think that delaying until the next council meeting and having the full report, which was available to the close of the motion and available to chair of the Environment Committee, preparing for all of us, so that when we make this agreement, we are in full facts of all the information, which is the best way to make a decision, and it also stops it being misconstrued as being a political matter.
Thank you. Councillor Derby, the councillor asked you wants to add more.
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, thank you, Howard, for the work you've done on this. But I'm Buckingham Council Statutory. This was something that was agended to go on October's environment meeting. However, because we were further at that time, it was removed from that agenda, and we didn't discuss it. Although we did have representations from people who live on Linden Village to come along and talk to us about it, we didn't discuss any implications or any future things that we might be able to do on it. So I believe that the Purdah rules should apply on this. And I would suggest that yes, we need to all be in possession of the reports on it, and we should discuss this at the next full council meeting.
Thank you. Councillor Osborne.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I actually was going to advise to support Councillor Modu's motion, but I know the issue of Purdah has been raised by Councillor Strutbury, so I'm sure if the clerk can give some guidance if this is a matter that impacts on Purdah, considering I'm not sure what the political dimension is here. So to you, I'd like to ask the clerk to clarify that.
I have to admit, when I put this on the agenda, I didn't think it was going to be an issue, but obviously the situation has moved on. I would suggest it is a matter for members' judgment as to whether or not they think this is a political issue. Yeah.
So
If the clerk can clarify that it's a political issue, I'd then like to support Councillor Modu's motion. On the ground that I do recollect that in 2022, we as a council sought to purchase this piece of land in the interest of the residents. Unfortunately, we did not succeed in that auction. We have seen the state of Leiden Village currently. I'm happy that some of our members do live there. And we get the complaints from our residents regularly as to the maintenance of those.
okay, thank you.
If I may finish.
Yeah, finish, and then we'll move to the vote on the amendment, please. Yeah. Or not the amendment. We need to then move to the vote on whether we are going to defer this matter to the next council. But please finish.
Right, thank you very much, Madam Mayor. So as we are, I would say that once this piece of land is classified as common land, it not only enable council having rights of common with the landowners to help manage the vegetation. That's the purpose and intent behind Councillor Modu's motion, and I would encourage members to kindly support that motion so that we can assist our residents better maintain the vegetation in Leiden Village. That would be my submission, and I would say, having supported it, I would like to see if we can move to the vote on that point. Thank you.
Do we need to?
I think you need to Councillor Strutbury have his this is amended in third, it might make sense to go from that part and then make it, and then obviously what happens after that is dependent on what.
Okay, yeah, I think that does make sense. In which case, well, I've had several. If it's a factual question, yes.
Yeah. Is there a danger of us waiting to the next full council meeting to discuss this?
I can't think of anything. The next full council will be 8th of July, which is just outside of after the election of this one.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
So that seems a relatively short delay. Yeah, I think we should move to the vote on this one, whether we want to, yeah. Very good. Yeah, quick comeback, yeah.
I just said the rules of Purdah are often confused. They're not to stop a council doing its business. It is to prevent people from using the council as a means of furthering their own political reasons. No, there's no law about Purdah. It's a convention. And this motion was submitted on the 15th of April. And for various reasons, it's only just got to the council. However, I will ask for a recorded vote in this instance, because whilst you might prevaricate and delay it because of whatever reason you want, it's important to the people that live on Linden Village. And I would like a recorded vote on this if you're going to delay it. And I don't think it does have to be delayed, because there is no rule in Purdah that says you must stop council business because of an election. And it isn't even a local election, it's a general election.
One final word to Councillor Sutton, then I will move this to the vote.
I think the reason for the amendment is to have to make sure that we make the decision in the full run of the facts. The reason for the amendment is not to delay this. I think that's it's to make sure that there can be no we have all got access to social media. We have all seen what's been at play. And I think that this is the reason why as in you, the points that you said about Linda Village, one of the points you didn't mention is the fact that when the Buckingham Borough Development Company wound up, which was the point that wasn't mentioned, they gave £50,000 to Gorka Charitable Trust, £25,000 of that went to the district council at the time to maintain this land. Buckingham County Council gave their £25,000 to Buckingham Gorka Charitable Trust. So it's got a long history. And do you need to speak again?
I said it's irrelevant. It's not nothing to do with the motion. The motion is what we're discussing.
So what I'm trying to ascertain that the amendment is not in any way to do with this. It's to make sure that when we make a decision, we make it outside the election with the full facts in front of us to progress it properly and with no possibility of anyone making a charge against us as individuals, making a decision which we could all personally be seen to be benefiting from in a political period.
Okay. So I think I want to move this to the vote now. A recorded vote has been requested. The amendment on the table is that this motion be put to the next full council meeting on the 8th of July and that it then be accompanied by any papers that were prepared for that Environment Committee meeting last autumn when it was already not discussed.
Chair, may I, because that's a very specific thing, I think there's been confusion over what was prepared for what. It might be better if it was just that I will prepare.
Okay, in that case, so the amendment is that we move it to the full council meeting on the 8th of July and then a report be prepared for that meeting by the town clerk. Yeah. Okay, in that case, a recorded vote has been requested. All those in favour, please.
Recorded vote on what? The amendment or?
On the amendment, not on the motion. That is what you asked for, right? Okay, that is Councillor O'Donoghue, Councillor Cole, Councillor Willett, Councillor Davies, Councillor Draper, Councillor Ralph and Councillor Stutchbury. And I think I will abstain because I live on Linden Village.
Was I supposed to abstain?
Yeah, you have to abstain.
I don't own it, I just live on it.
You don't live inside of it. Don't
You live outside.
You live outside the area
Linden
affected.
Village,
You don't
actually.
live on Linden
Would you
Village.
financially gain from it, is the
No.
question.
Thanks.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. My house value might very theoretically be affected by it, so I will, for that reason, abstain. So those against the amendment to move to the 8th of July, please. That is Councillor Jane Mordew, Councillor Ossobogan and Councillor Howard Mordew. So this will come back on the 8th of July to full council, accompanied by a report from the town clerk.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Totally positive decision.
A decision has been taken. I'm declaring this item closed for the public meeting. I don't have any chair's announcements, I believe, so the date of the next meeting is Monday, the 8th of July, for full council meeting. I am now asking that we move into private session. Okay. So I declare the public part of